Welcome to Portsmouth Insights. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. Over the past decade, the demand for granite countertops in kitchen and bathrooms has exploded among American home buyers and home builders. As a result of that demand, the stone industry has seen extraordinary growth. On the East Coast, the largest and most prestigious natural stone importer and distributor is Marva Marble and Granite. On today's show, we're going to visit one of their 4 showrooms, which is located right here in Portsmouth. We'll also learn about a brand new department of the city of Portsmouth, one created just recently for the express purpose of improving the quality of all neighborhoods in the city. And finally, we'll visit and learn about one of Portsmouth's many waterfront neighborhoods, Pine Acres. So, join us for this episode of Portsmouth Insights. Welcome to Portsmouth Insights. Located just off of Greenwood Drive on Seaboard Court is the showroom, sales office, and warehouse of Marva Marble and Granite Inc. This huge facility is one of only 4 such facilities that Marva operates on the East Coast. Recently, we visited their beautiful showroom to find out more about this company and their Portsmouth location. Chris Kalentos is the president and owner of Marva Marble. Thank you for joining us, Chris.
Thank you for having us.
You have a beautiful showroom here.
Thank you.
Really? Now tell us a little bit about the history of your company. How old is it? How long has it been around?
Be happy to do it. We started in 1987, and the idea basically was to be a good marble supplier, because at that time quartz and granite was not really in the picture yet. So marble was the material of choice. And a good friend of mine that I've went to college with, his father purchased a factory in Crete, Greece. So I got this phone call and basically telling me, he says, Chris, I know you always wanted to work for yourself. How would you like to do this type of business? So I was fascinated by it since they offered to pay for my ticket to go back to Greece. I had just finished my university studies. So I was happy to go there. And then from there, of course, they sent me to Italy, where I had to receive a complete knowledge of the marble world. Yeah. And the rest is pretty much history. But 1987 is where the journey began.
I'm just curious, how much of an educational process was it? How long did that take?
It was a solid 6 months for starters to see if that's what I wanted to do, because the family was engaged in other businesses as well. So they knew that this would not be a little hiccup where I have an impulsive, yes, I want to do it because of my personality, but then don't have the drive behind it to see it through. So I think it was really more of a test than anything else. And then after that, basically once a month for the first 15 years, I was out of the country, going all over Europe, because that was the hub really where all the marble started. And then of course India, China, Brazil, and other countries were introduced into it. And I've spent a lot of my life on airplanes and traveling and sourcing and doing the stuff that we do.
So did that grow like a passion? Did you
a huge passion
about marble?
Yes. I mean, anything I think you deal when it has to do with nature, either you love it or you don't. But since we're also created by nature, it's almost, I've never met a person that really doesn't like wood, stone, anything that has to do with the elements of our own creation, you know. So it was easy for me to really adapt and fall in love with it. And the more I liked it, the better I became at it. You know,
love what you do. When you started out, marble was the thing that was in demand.
Yes.
But has that changed somewhat?
That has changed a lot.
I know that in the last decade or so, nobody wants to buy a house unless it has granite counters in the
Technology
kitchen.
had a lot to do with it, Rob, because granite is so difficult to cut. And therefore it was available before, but the price point was really for the very elite. It wasn't for the average person to have it, or the middle class, which is really your biggest segment of the market. Now, once technology allowed for that to happen, then because of lifestyles, we're all very busy, we don't have the time for maintenance. Granite, quartz, these are harder elements, so it requires a lot less maintenance. So when you look at the evolution of the business, and as we progress everything forward, it made the perfect sense. So the vision of our company and myself, and I'll take a little bit of credit of that, is that I'm also a visionary. I can see trends and things happen before they happen. Now, it's how maybe God wired me. I mean, I have no explanation. I mean, I went to a good school, I paid attention, and I've learned, as best as I can learn by the abilities that I was given. But the vision is something that either you have it or you don't.
And you
I
do.
guess that's, I like to believe I do.
Okay. Now, how many outlets do you have? How many showrooms?
We have
How many?
4 locations in the Mid-Atlantic. Our workhorse, I like to call it the workhorse, is not the prettiest. It's in Beltsville, Maryland, but because of the logistics and also the amount of population that's there, it's really an operation that works almost 24/7, 5 days, and actually 6 days a week to keep it all running. Portsmouth is really our starship. It's where we call our brand going forward. When we started the company, I mean, I knew very little about brand and branding, to find out that it's really my image and how I market my image. But then you have to create what I call the culture behind it, because if I'm the only one that gets it and I don't teach that to the rest of the folks, then it's a one-man show. There's no dynasty, there's no passing it on. Then the family tree, which some of us say you're either blessed, or sometimes your blessing can also be your curse if you don't watch out on how you implement that. So I have all my family members. My wife is my partner, the mother of my children, my lover, my friend, everything that I can possibly have asked from a woman. She's there with me. She's my rock. And then I have my 3 kids that I like to believe also they're very awesome because how they were taught work ethic. But then they had to go out and do it for themselves. They couldn't be on my coattails that I'm going to hold their hand and do it for them. And then to develop that with the rest of our employees. So it's really a family business.
When we walked in this morning, there was a whole team at the front door smiling,
That's the future of Marva. That's why I love telling the story. I love believing that our best days are so in front of us, that it's almost, people who don't know me might say, wait a minute, this guy is just saying this to just say a story. No, you believe something long enough, it becomes your reality. For me, I live this stuff. I believe it, and that's why it's very easy to tell the story. But it started the journey that I chose family. Some other business partners that I have, and we discuss these things, they choose not to allow any family member because of some experiences they might have had. But it has a lot of advantages. And again, the value system that we use where, God comes in the forefront of our lives. I don't preach it, I don't wear it on my sleeve, but all my employees know that I'm a man of faith. And they admire that because I don't try to convert anybody. As long as you have some relationship with a higher authority, and I'll even call it your source, call it your God. You put the title to whatever your title wants to be. But you have to get through the day and feel good. The more good I feel, the more better I do. And this is the concept that I've taken my own personal life and incorporated into the business. Our employees, that's our strength, because we treat them as extended family members. And that's truly what they are. Without them, we would not be able to have what we have.
Before we started the cameras rolling, you were talking about seeing the potential in your employees.
This is something that I have so much passion for. And in my free time, if you ask me, top of, let's say, my best 3 hobbies, one will be that. To empower people, to see people for what they can be, not for what they are. Okay, and it's such a simple secret. I'm almost sometimes embarrassed to say it because to me it sounds like people have to think about that. And that's why people like to stay with us. And the ones that move on, 2 wonderful things happen. They're better people. They'll always refer Marva as part of the journey that they loved, and it was a good experience. And there were people that just didn't fit in their culture that I'm trying to build. So it's a win-win. Even when they leave, somebody else gets them. They're better trained. They're better as human beings. Okay, so I think that's the blessing. When we say blessing, I mean, a lot of these things are metaphor words, but when you put them into what do they really mean? Let's give words life. Making people better, giving them the opportunity and thanking them, because without them, we would not be here. It's impossible. It's a cast of us that make it all.
So what is in the immediate future, what's happening right now with Marva?
Well, for us going forward, we're seeing the changes that took place, but we're very hopeful that we're going to be a leader the way we started and the way we are today and going forward as well. But it's the adjustments that we have to make. I've learned to change the things that I can change and embrace the things that I cannot, but understand the rules of engagement. That is critical, and I would share that with any business person, whoever is listening to our interview. It's not just for people stone and people coming to buy stone from us. It's to inspire human beings how we can be better, and instead of just waiting around, waiting for things to happen, how can we go out there and just make things happen?
proactive
Let's move
and
exactly
creative.
right, yes. That's my creative, feel good. Call me naughty, but it's what makes me.
Well, you approach this almost, it
Makes me
seems to
work.
me, as an art form almost,
I love that. I've never quite put it like that, but that's
we walk
awesome.
here,
The
your
expression
showroom
that
here
you
is
just
gorgeous.
said.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
you feel like you're in an upscale art gallery.
Well, inspirational
And,
is
and,
what
you know,
we
and
wanted
all
it
of
to
this is,
be.
of course, used creatively.
Yes.
All
Yes.
these materials
Yes.
are. Well, thank you so much for joining us
My
today.
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure
Thank
meeting you and
you.
hearing your philosophy. And
Thank you so
best
much
of
as
luck in
well.
the future.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next on Portsmouth Insight, we'll learn about the City of Portsmouth's newest department. So stay tuned.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until
No secret that makes you smile.
reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this dangerous, but it's safe until they are returned.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
I don't know what's happening. Start a new chat. What did I do? Okay. Wow. It's so weird.
Hey! Hi!
Oh my gosh. Hi. God, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so nervous. Gia, you're so big. Come closer to the camera. Wait, now you're in my face. That was so good.
Welcome back to Portsmouth Insights. For several years, the city's efforts for neighborhood improvement services has been divided across several different departments. But recently, City Council, knowing that great neighborhoods are the backbones of great cities, expressed a desire to place more emphasis on the quality of our neighborhoods. In response, City Manager John Rowe reactivated the Department of Environment Services and renamed it the Department of Neighborhood Advancement, or DNA. Fred R. Brusso Jr. was named the director of the department, and recently he spoke with me about the goals of the Department of Neighborhood Advancement. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, okay, Department of Neighborhood Advancement. This is a new department within the city?
It's a new department within the city. It's actually taking an old department that was eliminated and bringing it back. Mm-hmm. But by bringing it back, it's bringing it back with a direction. It was neighborhood quality, and neighborhood quality does not give you, is it good quality, bad quality? Just what is it? And we looked at it and said neighborhood advancement. That means we're moving forward. Mm-hmm. Neighborhoods are always in a state of transition. And we want to make certain that the neighborhoods of Portsmouth are transitioning in an upward manner or an improvement. The neighborhoods are all diverse, so you can't have a one-size-fits-all program. You have to look at it as a very specific, for this neighborhood, what is needed, what is missing, what would improve it, and that's part of the fun. It's bringing the zoning inspectors, the environmental inspectors together as a group, but then it's also bringing the police department, the sheriff's department, the fire department, Parks and Rec, Commissioner of Revenue. Everybody together is going to have a piece of the pie, so to speak, because we all work within the city of Portsmouth. So the idea is, yes, work with the inspectors, but then start coordinating all of these different activities, and the citizens build engagement, build citizen input to help let us know what's good, what's bad, what needs to be worked on.
Say your neighbor's house is unkempt or the grass is growing up and you call the city and complain. This new department is trying to get a jump on all that?
A little bit, and not only a jump on the symptom, but maybe the causes of that symptom. Let's talk, the grass. If the grass is too high, it's either maybe somebody doesn't care and you need to do a regulatory push to either do it for them and charge them for it, or get them to understand how important it is. You know, grass can be a place to hide things. It could be a harbor for mosquitoes. It's you know, when it's that high, it's not attractive. The one thing that though is interesting is it's not the landlord all the time. It may be an individual that's elderly or handicapped or just had a stroke or a heart attack that can't take care of it themselves right at that time. So maybe we need to look at finding ways to help them.
Okay.
Does the neighbor need sometimes a neighbor will come over and help and cut the grass or bring a dinner or something like that.
So it's bringing all aspects of neighborhood life together to improve.
Bring it back to the neighborhoods that, maybe you and I think of where, you actually, your neighbors would.
You knew your neighbors.
You knew your neighbors won, and your neighbors could punish you too. And then tell your parents about it later on. But at the same time, if they needed help, people would come and help them. That's one of the things that I think is really important. I remember one time we had a problem at our house, and at church, they asked, "Where's your dad?" And Mom said, "He's at home. He's got such and such wrong with the furnace." Well, half the guys in the church got up and left and went to help. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you look at is the faith-based community is a partner, the police are a partner, the sheriff's a partner, the fire department. A neighborhood is part of the economic development of a community. We look at it and say, if the house sells quicker and for more, that's good.
For so long, people have thought of neighborhoods just as real estate, a place where there's real estate. But a neighborhood really is a community. It's a group of people living together side by side.
And they have common. A lot of times they have common interests. They have different interests, and where you say, okay, this individual enjoys woodworking and this individual enjoys sewing, and you're combining your experiences and what you do and then what your family's doing, and helping each other again is coming back to that same point.
And I would think, like in some neighborhoods perhaps, people would be very comfortable with, say, everyone having a boat parked in the front driveway. Other neighborhoods might zone against something like that.
That's exactly right, and that's why we're looking at, again, the 10-10-10 program.
And explain what that is.
The 10-10-10 program is a program we're asking, what 10 things make a good neighborhood? Some people may say all the grass cut, everything edged, and the flowers growing.
Right.
Other people may not think that's important, and they would say, yeah, we want to look at the boats, or we would like to see the trailer, or something like that. Then you look at what's bad, the 10 things that make up a bad neighborhood. And by taking that information and collecting it and putting it together to say, this is what this neighborhood wants, and this is what this neighborhood wants, then you can start moving into the diversity of a neighborhood.
Right.
And saying, this neighborhood, we need to do these things. In this neighborhood, we need to do these things. And then the other thing is, tell us what's wrong in your neighborhood. That's the last 10. Tell me 10 things that you think need to be fixed. I can sit here and look at it and say, I think this, I think that, I think the other. But if I'm working on all of these things, and inspectors are working overtime, but we're not getting the thing that you want to be fixed, I'm not doing anything. So let's find out what you want.
Yeah.
And then fix that. I use the analogy too that it's like, peanuts. If you say, why do you like peanuts? Some people say they're salty, they taste good. And I'm going, no, I'm talking about the comic strip Peanuts. I wanted you to read it.
Right.
And so you've got to have that open communications to make certain we're all looking at the same book, the same page, and the same paragraph, and everybody understands it. So that's, it's communications, it's civic engagement, and it's more than just one meeting. It's a constant meeting. The inspectors are going to be almost like ambassadors. They're going to be, they go to the Civic League meetings now, but we're expanding it out. Instead of just being the house that needs painting or the house that needs the grass cut, what else is out there? Then they can help bring it back, and we can work with the other departments to get those items checked and fixed.
And what about follow-up? I mean, we were talking a few months before the cameras are rolling. You said that, in the past, the city's gone in, they've done things in neighborhoods, and then immediately it's forgotten, or it's not.
That it's forgotten. We say, here's the problem. We create a solution. We enact programs for the solutions, and when they're finished, we say,
done.
We're done. but you never go back and make that last little twist that says, did we take care of the problem? And that is, it's a very basic, idea of public administration.
Yeah.
Check and make certain you got it fixed, and do that. But then actually start building on your successes. If you've done something good, or the neighborhood has done something good, celebrate it. It's part of what people start hearing. If all you hear is how bad Portsmouth is, then you think Portsmouth's bad.
Right.
If you start hearing, oh, this neighborhood's done this, and this neighborhood's done this, and this had, Old Town, they have the Ghost Walk, and they have a number of different things. Other neighborhoods at Christmas will go out and put the candle lights out and have caroling
Right.
at a little park or around somebody's house. These are the types of things that need to be put out to Hampton Roads to say Portsmouth is very special. It's a special place to be, it's a special place to work, and it's a special place to live. And once that's understood, then you start drawing in people, and to me it gets exciting. Going, oh boy, this is growing, and then you change your focus almost to keeping it moving. And we're going to be working on some ways to measure the neighborhoods. Okay, look at foreclosures, look at sales, look at length of time, look at how many grass cuts do we have to do? How many vacant houses? But it actually starts measuring the community and says, okay, this one is actually trending up. This one isn't. What do we need to do extra in this one that's not trending up? What do we need to focus on? Is there something that is causing this? So it's get started and then keep moving and keep evaluating.
And uplift everybody.
Everybody, yeah. And some will come up quicker than others. We know that. And some are already very, very high on the list. But the idea is to move everybody in a positive direction.
Like the term DNA, our neighborhoods contain the genetic code that's the very core of the character of our city. When Insights returns, we'll take a look at one Portsmouth neighborhood, Pine Acres. So stay tuned.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Welcome back to Portsmouth Insights. There are many neighborhoods throughout the city of Portsmouth that border on rivers, creeks, and other waterways. In fact, one of the best kept secrets in Hampton Roads real estate is the high number of reasonably priced waterfront homes available in Portsmouth. If one heads west down Portsmouth Boulevard toward the Hodges Ferry Bridge, one will find on either side of the boulevard some beautiful riverside neighborhoods. One of these is Pine Acres, on the north side of Portsmouth Boulevard, overlooking the western branch of the Elizabeth River. There have been homes on either side of that area of the river since the 1600s, but the first homes in Pine Acres were built after World War II. In Pine Acres, you'll find a variety of architectural styles, many dating from the 1960s and 70s, with others dating back decades earlier, and still others of more recent vintage. The waterfront roads snake along the Elizabeth River, offering many beautiful views. And a number of families who originally built homes in the Pine Acres in the 1950s still live there.
Hi, I'm Dora Ellsworth, and I've been living in Pine Acres for 26 years. I'm married to Wayne Ellsworth, and he's grown up in that area all of his life. The house we live in is on the water in Pine Acres. My husband grew up there. His parents built the house, and both of his brothers were raised there. They now live next door to us in a smaller house on the same piece of property. When they originally bought, they bought 4 plots, and it was all dirt. So all the houses have been built. Some of our friends call it Ellsworth Point. So it's quiet, nice houses, nice neighbors, especially when you have your family. It is nice being on the river. We don't get the opportunity to utilize the river as much as we should because of the price of fuel for boats. Yes, we have boats. We have 4 of them. Of course, Wayne and I only own 1. My father-in-law owns 3. But it is nice on the river. It's nice to watch the sun come up. It's nice to sit out there. We've had several parties on the point because we have a big point of land. Our dogs love it. My child loves it. Haley's crabbed out there on the pier as a child. My neighbors do take advantage of the river. Most of them have piers that are on the river. We have neighbors that when their children were growing up would come and crab on a pier or fish. My brother-in-law's children grew up right there also, fishing and crabbing. When Wayne and them lived there originally, the Hodges Ferry Bridge was wooden. They hadn't even developed the area. Elizabeth Manor Golf Course probably hadn't even been developed. Chesapeake Square's right across the river. You go over the Hodges Ferry Bridge, you're there in less than 3 minutes. So you have all the conveniences of the grocery stores, the mall, the strips, the restaurants, and the interstate. You can catch the interstate in 3 different places pretty quick. So you can get to Hampton in 10, 15 minutes. You can get to Greenbrier in 20. So we're pretty centrally located. The shipyard's not that far away. Most of the people in the neighborhood are probably shipyard workers. Not too many houses go up for sale that are on the riverbanks, but there are some houses for sale in there. You know, the kids that lived in the neighborhood are still in the neighborhood having their children. So now it's replenishing, replenishing with children.
That's our show for today. As is our custom here, we asked some of our guests what they would like you to know about Portsmouth. Let's hear what they had to say.
I think Portsmouth has a nice waterfront, and I feel like they should develop that, and they did at one time, because there is a lot of history here, and there is a lot to do here, especially on the downtown side. There's some nice restaurants, there's some entertainment.
Well, there you have it. But don't take their word for it. Come to Portsmouth. See what all the talk is about. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next time for another episode of Portsmouth Insights.